Our Wolverton and Greenleys Town Council area is not the classic picture postcard place usually associated with Britain in bloom. We've got the original medieval settlement of Old Wolverton with 1960s housing and an industrial estate. There's the Victorian and Edwardian railway town of Wolverton, developed from 1838, which is the largest conservation area in Milton Keynes. Then there's three areas of 1970s and 80s private and rented housing built under the direction of Milton Keynes Development Corporation, Greenleys, Hodgeley and Stacey Bushes. There's a newer places for people development at Wolverton Park alongside the Grand Union Canal that combines modern housing within and alongside listed buildings. Some of the old park area has been kept as a green space, and a wildlife pond is fed by water from the Royal Train Shed roof. Currently under construction is Stratford Park, a new development between Wolverton and Greenleys. The town council area is relatively deprived in relation to Milton Keynes as a whole. The Greenleys area is among the 20 most deprived estates in Milton Keynes, and in Hodgeley, workless families with dependent children form nearly 30% of the estate's households. Getting involved in Britain in Bloom over a number of years has given us an impetus for schemes that green and clean up our built-up urban area and get people, children especially, involved in related creative activities such as the animation sequences in this film that our Britain in Bloom group sponsored. So, let's look at some of our Britain in Bloom highlights this year. Let's start with the schools. Wyvern School does not have grassed areas, so instead, children have their own allotment plot on the community orchard site. This year, Britain in Bloom volunteers also involved children in the nursery and infant school in creating unusual planters.
Okay, right, so what you need to do is seal the roots. Seal the roots, they need to go right underneath.
That's it.
Put it in there. That's it, push it down, now cover it up with the rest of the soil.
I think it's a fantastic idea because it gives children the interest in gardening and growing and producing their own food and wanting to be part of the great outdoors.
Bushfield School has a keen group of children in a gardening club. But in addition this year, parents made and sold cakes to raise money for raised beds that they and the children worked on. Local community artists Amy Nixon and Paul Smith worked with the children making giant wooden flowers to provide an eye-catching feature on the school railings.
Today we're here with Gardening Club, who are learning from Cherry Lane Garden Centre how to plant plants properly to make sure that they survive. So Cherry Lane are here to guide the children and show them the best way to do things. And Cherry Lane have supplied all the plants in the raised beds at cost for the school as part of the project.
Okay, that's it. So dig a hole just a bit bigger than the pot. That's it.
I've got one hole. Is that it?
That'll do. And then all we're going to do is we're just going to gently break up the roots a little bit. Alright, nice and wet.
Ew!
That'll just help the roots get established. There's a couple of weeds in there, but we'll get rid of them.
This
Over a number of years, we've been trying to green up and brighten our streets with the installation of a range of planters around the area. In Wolverton, old vegetable oil containers have been recycled, painted and planted, and our Britain in Bloom volunteers ensure that they're maintained and replanted each year in association with the residents. Some years ago, we commissioned Milton Keynes Christian Foundation's young people to make a series of large wooden planters, and this year the local masons were on hand to repaint them.
We got part of the community service, what we do with Freemasonry in the community. we actually volunteer to help with the Britain in Bloom, to plant the planters all around Wolverton, in Buckingham Street, out in here in Church and Redcliffe Street as well.
Right.
So we're actually just refreshing all Britain in Bloom. We provide the labour force and everything else, and we come and help with Britain in Bloom.
In Greenleys, Britain in Bloom volunteers held work parties to improve the entrance to some of the crofts. Our most recent contribution to greening Wolverton has been the installation of a green roof on one of our bus shelters. It was sponsored and installed by a local firm, Bridgman & Bridgman, who've gained a national reputation for these installations, including at the Olympic Park in Stratford. Many of the plants for the various planters come from the hard work of Steve and Yvonne, who bring on plants in a polytunnel on one of our allotment sites. They also sell these plants at the farmers market to raise funds for the community orchard.
We're really pushing it with orange pumpkin, because that's the nearest we could get to gold, as the RHS is the 50th birthday party. So we're trying to grow a lot of yellow flowers as well, so that we'll be able to have yellow displays. So we've got scrambled egg and poached egg flowers.
We've also had Britain in Bloom volunteers working with local residents to clean up the beds in Oxford and Bedford Street, and have enlisted the help of the Community Payback Scheme too in this task. Volunteers from outside the town have also assisted in the community orchard. Students from Milton Keynes College with learning disabilities have been helping on a regular basis, and volunteers from Milton Keynes Conservation Volunteers have helped in the allotment area. We do, of course, have many people who have a passion for gardening, which they express through the creation of their own unique spaces. One such is Nan Maloney.
There's a pig going to bed with a hot water bottle under its arm. There's a frog around there with a microphone. Owls, and what else we got? Well, we've got a rabbit somewhere, but I think he's got lost in the in the greenery somewhere. And somebody give me the elephant. I've got 2 owls from the second-hand shop. Very handy second-hand shops for me. And sometimes we see somebody's pulled something up, kids pulled something up and left it on the side. We pick it up and put it in the garden. So don't ask me what's in the garden, I haven't got a clue. But every time I look at it, there's something different in it. So what pleasure does the garden give me? Lots. Relax. Remember old times when you used to live in another house and another garden. Just enjoy it with other people come and help you.
We do admit that litter can be a problem. Last year, a group of concerned residents ran a social media and poster campaign asking people to don't rubbish Wolverton, and 40 volunteers cleared some 19 tonnes of rubbish dumped in the back ways. This year, the campaign sought to promote responsible dog ownership. It included a design a sign competition for young people and literally highlighting dog poo left in back alleys with fluorescent spray. Involving local businesses in our Britain in Bloom campaign has been a problem over the years, but we are seeing some progress this year. Some of it is down to new businesses who want to make a good impression, but Stratford Road, the gateway to the town, has been brightened up with planters and hanging baskets, some provided by Britain in Bloom, but some being provided by enthusiastic business people. We're very proud that we have our own herb farm run by Milton Keynes Christian Foundation as a social enterprise that is training young people in horticultural skills.
So we have been busy growing a lot of flowers and vegetables and plants this year. We like them obviously for the colour and we just think they look beautiful. But we also have honeybees and we're trying to really increase the population of the bees. So we've let a few of our plants go to flower. Sometimes it's because they're edible, so we put them in our salad bags and the customers love them. and sometimes it's just for decoration, or we make hand-tied bouquets, which is one of the booklets that goes towards the qualifications for our trainees as well. We sell to a number of local businesses, coffee shops and brasseries, and then the other side of it is we have an email ordering scheme, so local residents can buy through the email service. And we also do a lot on our Facebook page, so we will put up pictures of freshly harvested produce, and it's all organic and picked sort of on the day that people come to collect it, so it's as fresh as you can get. And
This is Steve Winch playing at a recent free family concert in our secret garden, where volunteers continue to meet every Saturday morning to maintain this beautiful space.
Well, I've always enjoyed it down here. Something gardening and what have you has been my favourite hobby anyway, and to get the gardens looking like this for the public, got to be proud of it, you know. And yes, we could do with a few more people to help us, but the ones we've got are solid workers and keep coming every Saturday morning for, what is it, 10 years now? Wonderful, isn't it? Yes.
We've been given permission to film a mysterious group of people who meet in secret to create and then share their creations in surprise yarn bombings around Wolverton. The Nitwits, for that is their collective name, have been working for many months on their contribution to this year's entry in Britain in Bloom. One of the busiest areas of activity in Wolverton is at the Community Orchard, which runs a full programme of family-friendly events. One of the leading lights in devising and running these events was Denise Eilert, and she died suddenly earlier this year. At the first of this year's annual events, roses were planted in her memory by Community Orchard volunteers and by her husband Jeff and son Philip. Later that evening, her ashes were scattered in the garden in a private ceremony. With Denise's passing, we've lost a really great servant to the town, involved in so many ways in arts, heritage and environmental projects. She initiated the annual Scarecrow Festival, worked so hard at developing and running events in the Community Orchard, and, until this year, led our Britain in Bloom efforts. Her last contribution to Wolverton was arranging for sculptor Nick Packham to make a weather vane to celebrate the 175th anniversary of the town, and this was installed at the town hall, sadly shortly after Denise's death. Denise has left a tremendous hole in Wolverton's community life, and our Britain in Bloom entry this year is inspired by and dedicated to her.
The reason we do Britain in Bloom is that it just makes the town so much nicer once a year. So all around the town We've got planters that we didn't have before. We've got lamppost baskets that we didn't used to have. And over the years, since we started 20 Britain in Bloom, we've made Wolverton a much brighter place. And it is appreciated. We do get comments from passers-by, and we are getting more and more people involved.
Happy 50th birthday, Britain and Bloom.